I call upon all nations to do everything they can to stop these terrorist killers. Thank you. Now watch this drive.
Woke M&Ms have returned.
The power of the sun in the palm of my hand.
Green M&M got her boots back, but apparently is now a lesbian, maybe?
And now that we climbed the mountain, we get to name it. I think we should name it Shopify. Because to be honest, I couldn't have done it without Shopify. We just conquered Shopify.
And there's also a plus-sized, obese purple M&M.
Cyber is truly a joint warfare area.
Information warfare is it right now.
When the students first arrive here, we tell them, this is going to be hard. It might be the hardest thing you've ever done in your life.
I personally feel like if I'm not being challenged in life, then what's the point of doing what I'm doing?
Now watch this drive.
98, 99, 100. I fucking did it. The both of you thought I could not. And here I stand confidently on top of the mountain of counting to 100.
By that cadence, by that very cadence that you just did just then, how slow were you counting the numbers 9 through 97?
Well, people don't realize this, but all of the episodes of Watch This Drive that you've heard have been recorded pretty much sequentially with 20 to 30 minute breaks in the middle. So I was counting at a normal speed. I had to eat lunch, so I paused.
Could you imagine how bad this would start getting?
Who's the Kubrick?
Would devolve
I think
into insanity.
Kubrick had a habit, I think, of forcing or asking his actors and actresses to do the same scene 500 times in a row, so that like
just to piss him off.
Not just a bit. No, well, he was going in, like he'd use those takes for scenes that were extremely like raw, or like he was like really playing a specific emotion.
That sounds like Kubrick, because I thought I heard about this with The Shining when he was doing The Shining. He was like, torturing those actors.
Yeah.
Especially Shelley Duvall, is that her name? She like went nuts.
I didn't realize it was that violent.
No, she took like some real emotional abuse from both Jack Nicholson and Stanley Kubrick.
Okay, well, never mind. It's less cool than I thought it was.
Yeah, I think she dropped acting after that.
Where's our trump cards at this week?
I don't even know. I haven't checked them since last week.
There was a point where when we first got them, I was checking them like every couple of hours, and now I don't even look at them until Tuesdays.
I know you can just bookmark the link.
Nope. I go through my chat with you guys on Slack.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's just an OpenSea link.
You know, we don't have unlimited retention. We can't get our CFO to approve paying for Slack.
Yep. Mine is currently worth $229.86.
That's a little higher, right? Or no, it was up to $260.
I mean, it's holding.
I don't remember.
It's holding firmly in the black
for a couple weeks.
We were profitable.
What do you guys think? Do you think they're going to make a comeback, or do you think this is pretty much going to be there?
I don't think they're ever going to raise to where they were.
I think maybe if Trump did announce that he's running, right?
Yeah, a while ago.
I think once MAGA fever hits, they might go back up.
I don't think he's going to get past the primaries.
No, you're probably right, but I still think that MAGA fever will
fever never goes away.
Yeah, I know, but like it's peaks and valleys,
Yeah, there probably is some peaks and valleys.
Yeah.
Valleys.
I have a feeling it's going to make a comeback. So I'm going to have to learn how to sell these things before that happens so that I can sell it. I got to have my finger on the pulse.
What you really need, if your finger's on the pulse, Bed Bath & Beyond stock, that's where it is.
No, absolutely not.
It went from $1 to $4.
Wow, really? That's insane.
The fact that it's at $1 was like...
I got burned by BBBY.
Really?
Yeah, well, because I was trying to do the inverse Wall Street bets strategy. It didn't work out very well. I lost a considerable amount of money. And
really?
So, oh yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry for that. I think I actually told you about that, didn't I?
Yeah. I don't know if did you get the mail recently? Because I've named you in a class action lawsuit. It's with class of 1 right now, but we're expanding. Where I'm trying to find.
Awesome.
Carl, you want to co-sign? Do you have any grievances? It's going to be kind of a catch-all suit.
Just everything that Randy's done to aggrieve you.
Yeah, yeah, and part of discovery is that you actually need to disclose to us your salary.
Oh yeah, Drew was telling
Carl's
me
gonna
this
be
morning.
like, first he made me buy this stupid Logitech webcam that's crap. Okay, album on display.
I tried to cheat and I could not get it.
Really? With this line drawing?
I know that. You know what comes up? A crap ton of line drawings that look just like it but aren't it.
It's a line drawing of a little girl. Looks to be about 6 or 5.
Oh, actually, that was a comment that I got from one of our listeners, that when we do the album on display, it should be me and Drew describing it, because it's
what you can see.
It's very boring to listen to if you don't.
You did
see
that
it.
before. You've done that a few times, and I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. Like, you should try to describe it.
So we've got a white album.
Can you read any of the lettering on it at all?
I see 1956, 66,
1954,
1986.
1954.
Okay, you guys, all the numbers have so far been correctly guessed, but just not in the right sequence.
It blurs in and out.
I have.
It's 1954.
No, that's what Drew just guessed as well.
God, the numbers are changing on me. Is it
1984? 1984.
Nailed it. 1984, nailed it.
And that's
Like
that's
the
a
book?
J. Is it
No,
June?
it's-
Is it June Carter?
No.
Is this
So-
the Full
so
House
it's got-
soundtrack?
The what? The House?
The Full
Full House
House.
soundtrack?
Full House soundtrack, yes.
So for our
yes.
listeners, it's a
No, it's
white
not.
album, and it has like a blue line drawing of a young girl with some bangs going on. It looks like some script upper left hand corner with what would we say, 84?
84.
1984 in bigger letters.
That's the name of the album, is 1984. You could probably...
It looks like a J. J something.
It is a J something.
Joan of Arc.
Nailed it.
I'm
Good job.
completely guessing. Really?
Yeah. Joan of Arc is the name of the band.
Wow.
1984 is the name of the album. So yeah, it's it came out, I think, 2 years ago. 2020, 2022, 2019, somewhere around there.
Not
Well, I think
1984.
you're about 30 years off.
Yeah, it's 1984.
They were like a classic Jade Tree Records indie band. The Kinsella Brothers. It was like, Promise Ring? You guys know the band Promise Ring?
Yeah.
Like popular kind of
Yeah,
emo
I've
band.
heard Promise Ring. Yeah.
From the late 90s, early 2000s. That's kind of like they're seeing Captain Jazz and Promise Ring and stuff like that. But these guys came out and they were really weird, like kind of dissonant indie rock stuff. But this album, they changed up where, I forget if it's Tim Kinsella or whatever. The lead singer is no longer the lead singer. And now it's this woman that sings, and she has a really weird, almost Kim Gordon-esque, Kim Gordon of Sonic Youth-esque approach to vocals. And I really love this album, and there's a song on it called Punk Kid. It was kind of lead single, and it's really good, and there's a really good video for it. The bass line is just so freaking sweet on that song, and I highly recommend checking out that song if you don't check out the whole album.
I have a newfound respect for bass. I was listening to this song, and it was by First Aid Kit.
Don't Stop the Bass.
No. But anyway.
Drop that dun da dun.
The song had like this really nice, like, driving feel to it. And I thought, like,
Fast car.
maybe it was the drums that were doing it, but it was not the drums that were
Tracy
doing
Chapman, it's good.
it. It was the bass.
This one has this like slide.
All about that
like,
bass.
The bass is like woo. The syncopation of it doesn't repeat in a way that you would predict. So it
Did
just
you make
gives
that
it a
up?
really weird vibe.
Syncopation.
Syncopation is
No, it's a real word.
it's a kind of a vague descriptor of the beat, the pattern of the beat.
Yeah. You can't actually get a good definition from the community on what syncopation means.
Yeah,
Because
but
no-
like if you're in a band and you're talking to your drummer, talking to your bass, and you're like, you can change up the syncopation a little bit. It just means like maybe evolve the pattern a little bit to, change it up.
Yeah, and it means something completely different in the drum world.
Yeah.
So everyone's got their own syncopation
Yeah.
proclamations.
Yep.
Good. All right, so yeah, check out that album.
Hey boys, just want to say thank you for the podcast. Really enjoy it. All my other QAnon podcasts got canceled, so I'm glad to hear this one is still on the air. Thank you, boys.
Hey, who's that from?
You're welcome.
That's Caleb Culp. That's the name that they gave us.
You're welcome.
Culp.
You're welcome, Caleb. I appreciate it. We're fighting the good fight out here. When I revealed on a recent episode that I was the founding member of Stop the Steal, it was a real leap of faith, I think, for all of us to come out and just say it. Just say what many, I'm sure, have been thinking. So I really appreciate the support with you as our last remaining listener. It does mean a lot. But in my defense, it was a Super Tuesday thing. I said they stole it from Bernie, but then it was co-opted, and they wanted to make me their king, and I just kind of got wrapped up in it. And I'm sorry I said those things on that other podcast, and I'm going to do better.
That's good. That was heartfelt.
Yeah.
I felt it right here. For the listeners, I'm pointing at my chest. It's not even where my heart is. I think it's a little bit more centered.
I'm not a doctor.
All right. All right. So, Drew, you added something to the show notes last minute. I think we had about 25 minutes to read this. So thank you for that.
I was playing Destiny 2 with my
Of course
kids.
you were.
I did not.
I haven't paid a lot of attention to this.
I actually did read this article, and it's freaking crazy. So
Yeah, well, it's been like in the works. I didn't realize since 2018.
Mm-hmm.
They keep pushing the timeline back. They most recently, last month, they said, okay, Google Manifest v3 is coming out at some point in the future. We'll tell you more in March. Manifest v3 is Google's latest version of the software that serves as the bridge between an extension and the browser. So it kind of has all the protocols for how and when and where an extension can interact with the browser. And v2, which has been out, I don't know for how long, but it's been the standard operating procedure for a while. V2 is going away. V3 is here. They've changed up the way that the extensions can interact with the browser. And they say it's to make it a safer and more streamlined experience for everyone. The main thing that it does in that regard is it disables remote code execution, which was the source of a lot of different exploits for V2 powered extensions. And V3 says, nope, you've got to, all the code that's running, it's got to be included in the files you send over to get it distributed on the marketplace. And that's not all it does.
That in itself does make a lot of sense. Obviously, with remote code execution, the developers of extensions could very well change the code that is executing.
Definitely.
And they could do scary stuff because obviously Google would have no control. It's a server far and away outside of your browser that's being touched in the cloud, quote unquote.
Yeah.
That's executing a piece of code that has really nothing to do with the browser whatsoever. So this is
they can change
actually
that whenever they want.
Yeah, this is actually a step in the right direction as far as like compliance and approvals and what have you.
Yeah.
But
they're sneaking another little guy in there. Would you believe that Google, the ad company, doesn't like ad blockers?
No.
So the other change that they're doing is they're making it so that the method by which most ad blockers would do the blocking of ads would do their job, which is to
would easily do their job.
Right.
Or
So
more efficiently do their job. Yeah.
Yeah. They have a dynamic rolling list of URLs to block. And that's essentially
It's beyond that. It's actually they block on the technique that the ads use. So they have pattern recognition of how ads are actually brought in.
Okay.
Now they're being forced to actually do more of a URL specific. So a URL could change in a very minute way, and then that would screw up, would no longer block.
Yeah, they're
URLs.
forcing them to make it. It's making it a lot harder for the technology to keep up with the changing ad strategies.
Especially considering that without the remote execution of code, now you might be able to still hit an external data source. I would assume that would be true, but if that's not true and you had to actually package everything together, that means you'd have to actually redeploy your extension every single time these
whenever the list updates,
almost like a virus pack or something. Yeah, it's a list update. Yeah, which I'm not sure. That's a little bit of speculation.
Probably happens quite often.
Yeah, it probably happens quite often. This is not just going to touch Chrome. This is a Chromium thing, so this is going to touch Brave and Edge and Firefox, because now Firefox is a Chromium browser. It's going to touch a lot.
Is it a full
Safari.
Chromium browser, or is it just that I know that Firefox is hit by this, but I thought it was just because they kind of copied Google's homework. I didn't know that they were.
Is that what
full...
happened? I didn't think that they were a full Chromium browser either. But this, the article is a NordVPN article.
Yeah. Which, by the way, great job at the end of selling the product. That was.
Yeah, actually, these are the types of thought leadership articles that.
This is a good inbound marketing article.
Yeah, this is smart.
You made the only one. Good job.
According to this, Firefox is not based on Chromium.
Oh, or Gecko. Isn't it Gecko or something?
That sounds familiar, but you would think it's like they would just call it Firefox. They're doing animals.
Well, I think it's because the Mozilla Foundation was what started it, and then like the Gecko, whatever. All right.
Yeah, no.
I might be totally wrong about all these things.
For whatever reason, maybe it has to do with like the extension ecosystem more broadly. Maybe they just use Manifest protocols for their browser. Firefox has said that they're going to continue supporting both Manifest v2 and v3 extensions.
Okay.
And some Chromium browsers do have the ability to do that. It's just something that's really funny about it's exposed for me is how all of these different independent new age browsers, privacy centric ones, or ones that are tailored towards specific audiences, they're all Chrome. They're all Chrome. They're all the thing that you hate. I don't know. That's just kind of funny to me.
Yep.
And
not as funny as.
Oh my God.
Sorry if you have more to discuss on the subject of the.
Well, no, I just because we talk about ads a lot.
No, I think this is really like huge news that I don't think is getting the coverage that it deserves, especially surrounding the whole cookieless this and GDPR this or CCPA that. You know, it's in that vein, but I haven't. This is the first article I've seen about it.
It's interesting to live at the time that we live in, where the only warfare that we have is just companies making passive aggressive moves at each other that for some reason just delete $200 billion from the stock market.
Yeah.
Like the Apple with Facebook and
like, just to go back to my point. So you obviously you have like the right not to track like a lot of those laws. Virginia just passed one this year. California Consumer Privacy Act is one of them, the CCPA, and then GDPR, which is the grandfather, you know, the European law. And all of those are within the prism of do not track me. You as a consumer should be allowed to tell these companies what they can take from you, what data they can share, and blah, blah, blah. And then you have obviously the Googles of the world that are on the absolute opposite track. So it doesn't matter what like the legislation is doing, because they're over here doing things like this, which are preventing, you know, your ad blocker from running or being as efficient or as effective.
Mm-hmm.
It's just such a weird dichotomy. So yeah, back to your point, Drew. Like,
yeah,
it's a weird time to live, that we're not just the stock market point, but it's just this push and pull and this fight and twist, and no one fundamentally understand. Like none of these legislators that are writing these laws, or the consumers that are being protected by these laws, or just your common, you know, your layman, your common person has any understanding of any of this and how it affects them.
It is connected to the larger stuff, like the larger indicators of how crazy everything is. I would say the severity and the ambitiousness and like how out in the open some of these power grabs are. It seems to get more severe as interest rates go up. Like everyone's really, really nice when there's 0% interest
Google
rates.
the revenue is it's rough right now.
Well, and yeah, and there's all this pressure to like make more money because economies, we're not in a chill out, which is so funny that the chill, fun, good times economy and the holy shit, everything's on fire economy are like 3 percentage points apart on a graph.
Yeah, or the fact that the top 1% has gained 70% wealth in the last year. That's a stat I just read.
Yeah.
Just like, how
really
does this make any sense?
Yeah, but no, we got to squeeze these bad boys. We got to squeeze these bad boys. We don't know what the future will hold. We're all very afraid of it. You know, we might have to go a year without printing $100 billion, and that will affect our lifestyle in ways that are to be determined. We're losing the game. Our points are going down.
Yeah, we do know one thing that the future holds, though. And that is muzzles.
That's right. It's about goddamn time.
The future does hold muzzles.
When you sent me this,
all right, somebody's got to launch into it. Just
go ahead.
Let's get a break.
I'm not doing it. I can't do it.
This is your article. You got to do it.
I got to do it?
Yeah, do it.
Pitch us. Welcome to Shark Tank.
Yeah, welcome to Shark Tank.
It was brought to my attention that there was a product by MuTalk, and honestly, when I saw it, I wasn't sure if it was
that even
real or
sounds like
not.
a fake name.
I know.
MuTalk?
By Shiftall company, like coming 2023 for US. So
sorry. Just, how much did you say they were shifting?
Shiftall.
Holy shit!
Yeah. So
that's crazy.
When I saw this, Randy, you're
telling me you're shifting all of it?
All of it. You're gonna have to put a picture. You're gonna have to put.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a picture on the screen for the video version, but you got to describe it for our listeners, though.
So what this is it's.
I would use horse analogies.
Yeah. So the pictures that they show are.
Have you ever seen a dead horse?
are of somebody with like an Oculus Rift on their head or like a Quest 2 with what looks to be a muzzle on their face.
So Quest 2 is a VR goggles.
It's
like the big VR goggles, you know.
Yeah, big VR goggles.
Yeah.
It's like the Oculus had laid an egg, and it also is an Oculus, and it just goes on your mouth.
It looks like a cyberpunk kink fest, honestly.
The person in there is like, their brain is mush.
So what they described in MuTalk is
hedonistic virtual.
This is, and as far as we know, this is not parody. This is not satire. This is
this is a real product.
It's a real product.
Okay, so let me describe
it.
I know. Let me describe. So
Man-made horrors behind our comprehension.
All right. Let's pull it together.
MuTalk is a soundproof Bluetooth microphone that makes it difficult for others to hear your voice, and at the same time makes it difficult for ambient noise to enter the microphone. So basically, what it is,
it's an iso booth for your face.
Like, just think about putting your mouth inside of a Solo cup.
I love it. Can you give me the first
But it's
line
shorter.
again?
Yeah, MuTalk is a soundproof Bluetooth microphone that makes it difficult for others to hear your voice, and at the same time,
in MuTalk, no one can hear you scream. That's how I write that.
So here's what's really funny about this is
that's a whole other target audience for it, Drew.
So
That
what's
just made me
funny
think
is what's funny
like serial killers.
Why,
What's
I
funny
don't have to
about
soundproof this whole cage. I just have to soundproof the mouth. This is so much more
I'm
cost
sorry,
effective.
Carl. We just keep on interrupting.
It's just driving me crazy. The funny thing about it is, I've been playing games with the kids a lot, and we're all on headsets, and I'm sitting here.
You're like, shit, I'm gonna get one.
Like, these MuTalks would be fucking awesome for the kids. My partner can go to bed. We're up playing, and their rooms are right across from our room. So it's like, if she's trying to sleep, it's like if they had the MuTalk, nobody would hear them talking.
So how much are these?
I don't know. To be honest, though, I swear when I first saw this, I thought this was a parody. Listeners, I sent this to Randy and Drew, and I said, this is amazing, but I don't know if this is a parody.
Yeah, it looks like an Onion article.
It really does. But, the company has other stuff. There's the Megan EX, an ultra lightweight VR headset.
Well, you need something ultra lightweight when you have this thing hanging off your mouth.
They have a wireless battery. Oh my God, there's so many. There's so many weird things.
Come back.
It's just interesting, the stuff that they have. But yeah, the MuTalk is just...
I want to spend the rest of the episode on this.
So obviously for the viewers, you're seeing this. It's probably been on the screen the entire time. But just the combination of a VR headset, which is like a very large pair of like ski goggles and this horse feed thing. It's just, it can't be comfortable. Like you were talking in a previous episode, like 2 or 3 episodes ago, about whiplash and stuff because of the weight of these goggles.
Yeah.
And you're adding like...
Yeah, and how annoying it is when people around you are upset that they're getting whiplash. Now you don't have to hear them whine. And if they break their neck, they can't call for help. Congratulations, problem solved.
Now, taking this from a different angle,
he's got some good points.
As ridiculous as this product is, I can honestly see the benefit of using something like this in an office environment. Personal calls, I don't know, it's fucked up. But
what if you saw?
It's fucked up, but it's
what if you were? This is metaverse Bane. This is like, can you imagine if you were in like a Coney Island? And you looked up and you saw a guy with headphones and one of the MuTalks on.
And the VR headset.
And just like his mouth moving in the way that you move it when you talk. But
it was obvious
noise.
that he's on like a Teams call or something.
But he's just staring directly at you, just mouth twitching. But no, like, this is cosmically horrifying. And part of the reason I have to laugh at it is that I know 2030, you're going to be walking down the street with your MuTalk and your Oculus. And you're going to bump into somebody and you're going to have to friend request them. You're going to friend request him so that you can apologize. Otherwise, you can't see or talk to them.
2030 is going to be like the Marines bust into some terrorist cell, all wearing these things, so like guys, no one can hear their crosstalk.
Did you see the MuTalk official video?
Oh no!
Can you put it on screen? Are you able to do that right now?
Yeah, I could play it.
Bring it up.
Bring it, Jamie.
Oh my God, that is...
See, that's what I'm saying. You're in the diner, you look up, you see this fucking asshole.
Holy shit.
The thing about it is it doesn't cover your nose, so it's like those...
Again, voice leakage prevents it. You just invented it. You just made it up.
Those mask wearers, that don't actually...
Yeah, they'll be okay. They'll be okay with this.
This is basically just a trough you spit in all day. You just spit in this all day.
It's got to be so vile in there after a little while.
That just looks like a $600 vape.
No, there is there are hygiene Okay, so this is bad English translations, but it's hygiene conscious removable mouse pad. And what they mean is mouse pad. But it's got a removable mouse pad. Oh my god, that's so messed
Yeah, he
up.
looks like he's having way more fun now that he's been.
Wow, 30 decibel sound reduction. So that's really strong.
Significant.
I don't like that he
Yeah,
winks
it's like
at
a
me.
jet.
I don't.
Yeah. Wow.
Do you think? Okay, let's talk other use. Okay, sharks. What are you in?
I'm not in.
I'm not in.
Carl's out.
I don't think
Can you
people
talk-
will be able to get past the craziness, just the look of the aesthetics
Yeah.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give you $2 million for 5%.
It's so fucked up.
I think this is
But
the future.
but seriously, like if it
Tell me about
actually
your
has
patents.
like
Are they design or utility?
negative 30 decibels is pretty insane.
Yeah, that's a significant drop. I'd like to see it live in person to see
You just did.
like this 30 decibel thing.
God damn, we have to buy. We have to expensive fucking MuTalk.
You can't even buy it.
Yeah, well, so I
it's-
noticed
it's only in Japan right now.
if you
right?
scroll all the way up.
I don't know if it's Japanese. Oh, it looks. Yeah, it probably is Japanese. Yeah,
Well, there's a
it's Japanese.
timeline. They have an expected delivery date on this. It says coming 2023 for us.
It's
For I mean, U.S. right?
It's coming
Yeah,
for
for-
us.
for US.
2023. That's what I meant.
leakage voice
Can't escape
suppression
it.
microphone MuTalk.
Okay, I want to talk about the voice leakage. Has any other microphone ever measured its specs with voice leakage? They just invented
No.
this. So that's genius.
How else would
They-
you explain it? I mean, this is a thing though. Like in studios, you have isolation booths. Like
No, I'm
that's
saying
a
this
thing.
is genius. This is like exactly the type of entrepreneur I
So
want to invest in.
sound leakage and stuff like that. That's a thing. You know that you'll hear that in
just not for microphones.
musician talk. No, for microphones. The microphone itself is never going to be referred to
Exactly.
that, but it's
the room, the space.
the room, the space that's
Yeah.
conditioned and
It does say
isolated and
that.
what have you.
It does say that somewhere in here. I just read it that you can achieve this with a room and soundproofing, but that has
Yeah,
cost.
but
No,
those-
but that's not
those are
what this
fairly
is doing.
expensive, yeah.
This is a portable solution that is cheaper and you can use on the go.
Yeah,
And for that reason, again, I'm in. What do you
Right.
need?
we will buy one of these.
Well, the fidelity of the microphone, if it's really good, well, it's Bluetooth. It's not going to be that good, but
No, it's USB-C if you want.
okay, if we can get a good signal off of it, let's just use it for recording vocals.
The mic input sensitivity is minus 51 decibels to plus 3.5.
Yeah, that doesn't really tell me. Does it have a frequency range?
Yes, 100 to 10,000 hertz.
All right. Yeah, you can put that on a snare.
You put it on a dog.
It has earphone
no,
jacks, 3.5
that's-
millimeter stereo mini.
It's probably not a large diaphragm, though. It's probably I don't even know if it's a condenser.
Hey, I think this is a product for everyone, Randy. It doesn't matter how large your diaphragm is.
What I like is that they keep messing up with the word. So the accessories that come with it are the MuTalk main unit, the mouse pad, the moisture absorbing cushion, a headband, USB cable, documents. Oh, the safety guide and warranty. But
Okay.
mouse pad is my favorite. I love that it's got a hygiene conscious removable mouse pad.
Mouth pad or mouse pad?
Well, it says mouse pad.
It's got
but
to be
it means
mouth pad.
but it means mouth pad. So it's a hygiene conscious removable mouse pad. The mouth pad, which is in contact with the mouth, and the moisture absorbing cushion, which receives saliva splashes.
Yeah, it's definitely going to receive a lot of saliva.
Yeah, but
splashes.
then in the specifications, it also says mouse pad.
I'm just excited about the prospect of having a high-tech spit tin that I can wear on my mouth. Because I'm always looking around, I'm thinking, where can I spit?
Now it's leak proof when it comes to sound, but is it leak proof when it comes to saliva?
Well,
You know who's going to invest in this? Prisons. That's who would invest in this.
I was going
so
to
they
say
can
schools, but yours
do
too.
nefarious things to their prisoners? Is that
Nah,
what you mean?
you know, just to keep people from talking. You know,
Everybody walks around with these things over their mouths.
yeah.
Wouldn't
they're
it
all-
be cheaper just to get a device that has all the sound isolation properties without a microphone?
Yeah, probably.
No, well,
I don't
because they can still talk to each other, but they have to pay for it. It's a minute of talk time,
You know,
$1 per minute.
This obviously solves a problem that I don't think we have necessarily here in the US, but maybe it is a problem in Japan. You know, but because I think there's a lot of internet cafes and stuff over there. Maybe it's not here. So I could totally see like it being useful in those types of places, but it just seems so ridiculous and far-fetched, you know, and
No, well, it's a very jarring image.
cyberpunk.
it's wild. I mean, the first image being strapped to a guy's head, I think is a very bold lead there. I would kind of ease people into that.
Especially considering that VR goggles are already silly enough. I mean, they're kind of silly looking. You know?
They are.
You put this on your face as well, it's like, okay, that's getting a little ridiculous.
It really does just look like a mini VR goggle for your mouth.
Just do like a whole mask. You know, just cover your whole face.
Did you guys see the diaper sensor?
Are you making this up?
No, you wear it and it tells you if you piss yourself.
Oh, because you
and
would
it connects
know
to your connects it to your game because you're so immersed. So then, so if you start to pee yourself,
sounds like
you
you're
need an
immersed in
alert.
piss.
You need an alert. Well, that's part of it. Like the in-game world can respond to you peeing and shitting yourself.
Do they have the poo one as well?
Oh, they know it's you have to buy both.
Please tell me you're Please tell me you're fucking with me right now.
They've teased number 1 and number 2 options, but right now it's a
please tell me this is a joke. It's a bit, right? This is a bit. Right.
What do you?
This is not.
You don't think that the VR diaper sensor is real? The one that lets games respond to
here's the thing.
data?
I would
But it looks like
put it past anything.
The sensor looks like a very about an inch to 2 inch VR goggles.
You can use it. You can use it in Ark Survival VR, and you can if you shit in real life, you can pick it up in the game world and you throw it at your enemies for massive damage.
Yep,
it's crazy. People are really leveraging this technology.
All right, it's a bit.
Did we bring up the Oculus Rift, the cuckoo inventor that invented the VR goggles that'll kill you? Is this a good time?
We
to bring
talked
that
about
up?
that, yeah.
Okay, we good. All right, good.
What?
That was last episode
You
or so.
didn't.
Yeah, we
thought
talked about it.
We didn't talk about this. I don't think we did talk about this.
We did.
I mean, it's real. Like he really invented this. It's a real thing. It's got explosives in it that if you die in the game, you die in real life. That guy's a kook.
Who would buy that?
He's not actually selling them. It's
made
more of an extreme.
He's trying to create like a Mad Max, like
It's like one of those like YouTube videos or something where someone makes it so that like if you open the door in their room, it like blows up their computer kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
the Mr. Beast video that's like, pick a door, left or right. If you pick correctly, we'll give you $500,000. If you pick incorrectly, we'll make you beat a homeless man with a bat. Like one of those.
Jesus.
Is that a really?
I mean, I'm exaggerating, but I think we're really only like with the way that the content is going, we're really only probably a few months out from Mr. Beast just paying homeless people to fight each other in the street.
Yeah, I don't think you're exaggerating that much, to be honest.
For sure. Speaking of the metaverse.
Oh yeah, that we weren't really speaking of the metaverse, but I named this thing. I named this thing the Meta Muzzle, and I think that's why.
Well, I mean, it does in the video. It mentions that it works or designed for the metaverse.
It's the first picture. The first picture is a person that's put themselves in a portable sensory deprivation.
Yeah, but this company also sells a VR headset, so it's very possible that it's that VR headset.
Yeah, you can bundle them together.
Do they have like a whole like tracking set and thing you can wear? That is wild.
What is a tracking set?
Gets put on your body, so like a hip tracking set.
For like VR stuff.
Yeah,
they all look like VR goggles.
No, it's like a vest.
I have a question about the hip sensor.
Does it lie?
How many gyrations per second can it handle?
More than you can put out.
Perfect.
Let's get Shakira involved and let's test this out. It was a hips don't lie joke. In case you guys didn't follow.
My hips do lie. My hips are the equivalent of the Volkswagen faking the pollution numbers. That's how hard my hips lie.
So I'm on the hip tracking expansion set, and it says important. It says, yeah, I know. It's actually called it's called the expansion set for hip tracking. Sorry. Anyway, it says important, and this is in red before you even get into the item description. Important. Only shipped to U.S. addresses, continental United States and Hawaii. Limit No, here we go. Limit 1 unit per customer. If we determine that you purchased more than 1 unit, it will be invalid.
Holy shit.
We'll come after your hips.
Yeah. Please know that you will not be able to cancel the order after it is confirmed.
And the reason for that
don't even think about sending this to your neighbor's address, all right?
You know can the reason? Only buy one, buddy.
They're so strict about that because they actually only have 1 production unit. So they just like Santa Claus, Santa Claus, you sneaks in whenever you anticipate that
like
somebody's going to want to use it. They get it and they bring it. They have like decoys.
He's a mean one.
but they
You
only
can
have
also
one
buy-
working production unit.
You can also buy the expansion set for the elbow tracking.
Oh my god!
That's $99.
And they all look like little VR goggles.
No,
right?
these are like Velcro straps that go over your
No,
body.
they're missing
and
an
stuff.
No,
there.
they all look exactly like the microphone.
Yeah, exactly. They're
They're
just different, like little
dangling
VR
off your-
goggles that strap on. It'll just be covered in like these weird
Just
oval zits.
yeah, just
So-
dangling off you like a
The initial one is like it's a strap. It's called the Haritora X 1.1. This one goes like around your waist, and then there's Velcro straps for your knees, and then it looks like your ankles. So I don't
Holy
know what
shit.
it's- Like they old, it's almost like motion capture type stuff.
Late
There's
stage.
somebody.
capitalism.
What kind of game would you get that use out of it? Is there a Macarena video game?
Not yet.
Is
It
there
will be soon.
the head,
Just
shoulders, knees, and
Dance
toes video game?
2023 is
Because
going
they're
to be.
trying to track all
hot.
that shit.
I'm trying to wonder like what you would play.
I mean, maybe they're waiting for the
I
game to
don't-
be invented.
I don't think I want to play a game that cares about where my elbows are. I don't
It's
think I
just-
want that.
It's like a dance game, you know, like
Yeah.
Yeah. Each joint seems to have a sensor of some sort there. So
It'd be very funny if they were just like elbow
let's
pads.
get digits in there. Let's get some
Oh.
fingers in there.
I guess if it was a person in the metaverse, right, you could get full articulation.
Aren't there no legs in the metaverse?
No, I said you
Or
could.
no?
No, I'm saying there's no family friendly application for that kind of technology.
They're not looking for family friendly, man.
None of this stuff is shipping right now anyway.
It's just really it's awesome to like.
Speaking of the metaverse,
Oh, wait, January, February 2023.
I want to stay in this space for a moment because I think we're in a good space.
Somebody
I-
buy us a MuTalk when it comes available.
All right. We listeners, we have quite a few more articles. We're not going to be able to get to them because this is going to be.
If once you see
Which
the
I'm
MuTalk,
fine with, that's
you
fine.
will understand.
I want to do a bit
You
where
can't
like
leave the MuTalk.
I want to sell a spec
It's just
script.
so good.
I sell a spec
Doesn't it
script
drive you crazy?
for like.
It drives me crazy.
Because
Anyway,
it's
go
going
ahead,
to
go
be
ahead,
a
go
pain in
ahead.
the ass to edit.
We do it for good jokes. Is the thing. I'm not doing it to hurt your feelings. Okay, so you've got the metaverse. You got this. You got these executives that are all playing.
This is unlistenable.
that are all playing at this idea that everyone is watching, and they're like, well, I know what people use VR for in movies and stuff, and it's to be banging. And so that's the dream that they're selling to a lot of people, is that you bang in VR.
Who's pitching this?
Well, they all are.
Drew is
implicitly.
right now to us.
No. Like Meta and like any other company in this space, that's the dream, right? Like that's the thing they're pushing. They can't say it out loud. We just have to watch them get like progressively closer to being able to do that kind of thing. Watching them like Tony Stark in the cave, pretending to be building something else, pretending to be building the Jericho missile when in fact he's actually building the Iron Man suit. That's what Zuckerberg is doing.
Yeah, I had no idea people would use this for sex.
Yeah, exactly. That's what
Okay.
the Zuck is doing. And I think he's actually a mad genius because in the background, he's got a team of disgusting engineers working, burning the midnight oil.
Disgusting.
They come in, it's an all-night campus. It's an entirely different workforce comes in, Batman style, and they're making the sex one. But they're getting all of like the research gains are like kind of trickling down to them. So they're building a rough approximation. But what's actually going on underneath the scenes with the real product here, which he'll release on us it'll be too late by that time. That's where all that money is going. The investors are like, what? We don't know. Like, we can't account for $10 billion. Where'd that go? So I was like, I don't know. It's going to the sex VR.
It's full circle for him because, you know, the Facebook, how it started with the hot or not, basically, you know, it's just, it's the same motivations.
This is the climax of the Zuckerberg arc. He's going to
the Winklevoss or whatever twins are going to come back in, get involved. It's full circle. All right. Horizon Worlds is a video game within the metaverse.
Sounds terrible.
This was very surprising to me because I always thought that the meta thing right now, it was all just like tech demos, and maybe there were specific applications where if you want to do like a Teams meeting, you go into the Teams meeting meta version. I didn't realize that they essentially had a Roblox, but bad for VR.
So is it Roblox in the sense that you can create your own games within?
There's some sort of creation
like a
engine,
shell?
like you can bring in other assets and stuff, but there's very little content moderation, and also you need a VR headset to use it, and also it's not fun according to the people that actually like play it.
Well, it's very buggy, right?
Well, it's very buggy, and also there's like a lot of pedophiles on it.
Oh, yeah.
They do a very good they do a very bad job. Well, yeah, no, and so here we go again. There's pedophiles everywhere. This should be a solved problem. They have under 200,000 users right now. They originally, by the end of 2022, targeting 500,000. They didn't get there at all, and there's a downtrend in the daily or the monthly active users. They can't even get their own employees to use it.
Yeah,
like there's a older The Verge article here that's talking about how people don't really like it very much, and about how they sent out memos saying, listen, everyone who works here does have to play at least one day a week in my stupid fucking...
I made this point quite a few episodes back. It coincided with Zuck forcing everyone back in the office. I'm forcing you back in the office so you can strap on a VR headset and play this game.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
A lot of contradictions in this shit.
What's your actual pitch for how you would do the metaverse?
So the way I would do the metaverse, if I had to do the metaverse, if I was Mark Zuckerberg, if I wasn't a human being, I would take kind of like a Snapchat-esque approach. So I would just have Meta itself be a thing that you install into your game, VR or 2D or 3D. And it would just be a bunch of different services to help you like speed up your game development. Like you'd be able to just import or bring in your avatar for Meta, like into any of these other games or services. You might have some sort of like cross game reward system for cosmetics. The games could list different cosmetics for you. That's not like a super new thing. I mean, it would feel, I think, conceptually similar to like a Mii on a Nintendo Switch, where you can bring that into multiple different games. But the hook would be that it's distributed. So you would just, like any other Facebook app, you would just have to like get approval, and then you could bring all that stuff and use it in your own game. And it wouldn't have to be limited to one art style. It could just be kind of a common language for the avatar appearances. And then you as a developer, if you didn't want to use their default art style, you would just have mappings to how it impacts your character customization. You basically try to own a large network of games connected slightly thematically, but also through common authentication, character progression, and all that. So it's like mostly casual games, but I wouldn't put all of my stock in what is essentially one executable file. Like it's like, this is, I guess you could call Facebook that, but this is a fucking video game. If you want to compete with Roblox, you have to make it not shitty and bad to use. And you also need to be able to let people use it that don't have $1,000 piece of hardware.
And to be fair, Roblox is kind of shitty.
Yeah, it's not
like, it's
very
really bad. Like,
super buggy.
I honestly don't understand why the kids are so addicted to it, but it's terrible.
I was a bit shocked when they first went public.
I just mean the graphics. Like, it's just really bad.
To go public? Like, that just seems crazy to me.
Billions of dollars.
I know, it's insane. Yeah. And this is really somehow worse than that.
Yeah.
By a lot. I was kind of looking at some of the screenshots and some of the in-game videos, and it's just not.
I can see why Roblox went public. I mean, they have money coming in from all of these kids addicted to these dumb games, and they're just buying the Robux.
Yep.
Got to have those Robux, man. But
yeah, I mean, it's also a cesspool of bad vibes. There's a shit ton of horror stories that come out of people who go into that, and it's just people like harassing them in ways, and I won't like detail, but in ways that you can only do if you're in a context with like VR shit going on.
This is Second Life all over again.
Yeah.
Any gamer that has ever played any game with a multiplayer type thing knows the type of community that you're going to be dealing with. Yes, there are good people and there are nice people, but the majority of online communities is toxic as fuck.
Yeah.
I don't care if you found your circle of 20 friends in some game and they're the nicest people ever. The majority of the people playing your game are toxic.
You have to assume that. And so they're not investing in like moderation, basically.
No, they're not. Even not games, like even just online communities. Like the fact that there's anonymity at all behind any of this stuff means that people are just going to do whatever the fuck they want because they can, and they can get away with it. And maybe it's just a place to be toxic.
My 8-year-old talked me into allowing him to play Among Us with me. Like, I was playing it on my phone. He was playing it on his Switch in the free chat mode. Literally first game we got in, and someone called, because I didn't vote fast enough, someone called me a beta cuck. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Well, somehow they got that one right, but still.
But it's just like, come
you might want to
check
check outside for cars you see a lot.
This is a kid's game. What are we doing? This is Among Us. This isn't even like Fortnite, which is a kid's game, but like, at least has violence and what have you. This is, Among Us has violence, but these are little freaking bean people walking around, I want to be a ship in a cartoony.
Why didn't you hit the vote button fast enough, you cunt?
Yeah, it's like what? And then I'm like, oh my God, we got to get you back into the quick chat thing. You can't do this anymore. And then he pointed out, well, everything he just said to you, it was actually bleeped out on my end. Like it was just blanked out because, he has a kid account.
Yeah.
I'm like, at least that's good.
There's something.
At least they got that.
That's how Roblox is apparently too. They can't say very many things. There's also there's some weird filters in Roblox. I think if you put numbers in, then it blocks that out because they don't want kids sharing their phone numbers.
Minecraft does the same thing. Like if you can't even put it on a sign, like the signs in the game.
Yeah.
You can't even write certain words on the sign. People complain about it because sometimes the algorithm's a little too aggressive. And
if I'm one of these platforms and I know that my primary revenue source is children, I'm gonna prioritize.
I fully agree with you.
That very specific thing.
Yeah, I mean, not even from a moral stance, but like a fine, stance. It's like you're gonna get like the crap fined out of you.
You get the sued to shit.
Silicon Valley has a whole episode.
Yeah,
a couple episodes.
Yeah.
Wait, I can't just market directly to 13-year-olds. I don't want to get elitist about it, but I think part of this is also just like the flattening of all forms of art and expression and weird Disney adults, for example. I don't want to hate on Disney adults, but like I don't know.
Wait. What's Disney adults?
Adults that are super into Disney.
Yeah.
Okay.
Adults that might plan a trip to Disney World without any kids.
I actually know somebody that Disney is their favorite place, like ever, and they go every year.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
I mean, I'm not trying to hate on anybody too hard.
I am. Fuck them. Dear listeners, if Disney is your favorite place, go fuck yourself.
I mean, the world sucks.
Right. I guess that's
if you want to go to
no,
Disney
it's fine. I really don't give a shit. I'm just messing.
No, I'll up the ante. You should be executed.
You guys realize that Walt Disney not only was anti-Semitic, but he was also anti-labor.
Yeah, actually, fuck you. Yeah, actually, you're problematic for liking it or anything they own, which is most things. So sorry about that.
Okay, what's your point here? Flattening...
so I don't know. It's weird that somebody who would be saying beta cuck would also be playing Among Us. You know what I mean? Unless it is like, but it's also just likely that it is another kid. Yeah,
it probably is, and they're just like repeating what another kid said and another kid said.
I don't know. I
guess they're probably repeating what their parents said.
You send your kid to first grade, they're probably going to hear beta cuck, right? Like I don't know.
Potentially. It depends on the school.
I do think I like the on ramp that I had growing up though, where like I got into Call of Duty in middle school, and that's really where I learned how the world works. I think for the first time, that's kind of like my first. That was like my first drinking from the fire hose of the world outside of my own.
I'm actually really enjoying like hearing what my kid is starting to learn. He came home and asked what somebody meant when they called someone a knob. And
he came home and asked why you're a beta cuck.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, sometimes the stuff that they say is pretty funny. The new word is bussin'.
My kid, I was overhearing him. He was playing Minecraft with his friend just today. I don't know what they're doing, like playing some parkour level or whatever. And he's like, "Oh no, I fell. Emotional damage." Like, where are you even getting this from?
I'm getting it from those YouTube videos, man. They just say stuff. All they do is repeat stuff, and sometimes I'm just like, you should not be saying what you're saying.
Well, like kids, they love repeating shit. I mean, everyone loves repeating shit, but kids especially. Yeah. And so now with the internet, they have access to so many good fucking things to repeat. Like there's so many good bits.
They keep repeating fucking ads. My kid sings jingles from like ads that he sees on YouTube. I'm like, are you?
They're getting them.
Stop. I'm telling them that. I'm like, they're getting you. They're tricking you right now.
Just buy YouTube Premium. No ads.
No, absolutely not.
Simply give YouTube
$10
a month.
We got the YouTube Premium because it comes with the YouTube Music. So family plan, man, it's like $14.99 a month.
That's not worth it.
I watch enough YouTube.
If you use the discount code We Do Crime, then
is that true? When did we work that deal out?
Not at all.
I remember
yes,
that.
It is. I'm getting all the proceeds.
Oh shit. You told me not
Don't
to
tell
worry
these
about
two
the
guys
shadow
about
bank
it.
account. You told me you told us not to worry about it. I think you said it was for tax fraud.
It is for tax fraud, but I'll get away with it because the Republicans are doing away with the IRS. So
Fuck, what a good ass transition.
That was a great transition. Nice setup.
Fucking so good. Do you think we take the wind out of it by calling it out every time it happens?
no, I think
It's even
we
funnier.
have to give. Yeah, we have to give ourselves credit for that stuff.
Good news, guys. Good news, guys. No more taxes.
This is
except
good
for
news.
22% consumption tax.
Consumption tax, which won't affect rich people at all. So it's a perfect idea.
Yeah,
This is
they were
great.
saying 22 to 30% consumption tax.
Oh, that's perfect.
That's
That will
awesome.
target the poorest of the poor directly. It'll be a beautiful thing. I love it.
That is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think eggs should be taxed like cigarettes.
I've read
Bad
that
for you.
this would destroy the economy.
This is the
Yeah,
dumbest idea.
yes.
I hate this. Obviously, it's just
We know
the
why.
house. So
And this one,
they
yeah,
have-
this isn't
they
going
have very little
anywhere.
control. The laws aren't going anywhere.
This is posturing.
But it just seems like these types of this posturing, these types of overtures, the fact that this is an Accounting Today article or what have you that was published rather recently, it just controls the message once again. There's no rebuttal. Like no one's actually, a few House members are coming, a few progressives are coming out and rebutting it, but they barely get any coverage whatsoever. So the whole news cycle is dominated by what the House is doing. And we have, coworkers at PetSmart that are like, this is exciting. This is so cool. It's so awesome that they're doing this. And it's like, you have no idea what the other side would think or what a progressive point of view would be, or the fact that a consumption tax would be detrimental to middle class or poor people versus you go grocery shopping. You spend $200 on groceries. That's a huge freaking hit for somebody who makes $50,000, $30,000 a year.
Yeah.
But if you make $1 billion a year
It's nothing.
and you spend $200, which you're going to still spend $200 because, you're not buying solely caviar and, whatever. Like, that's nothing. It's nothing to them. It's absolutely nothing. And yeah, $1 billion is an exaggeration. But even if you were, making $5 million a year or what have you, it's nothing to you. You're not going to consume more and spend more on consumables because you're 5 million. Yes, you will buy the yacht, and yes, you'll buy the expensive products, but those are never taxed at the same rate as just going to the grocery store or buying, 20 gallons of gas.
Groceries aren't usually taxed anyway.
But the point
normally
is,
wouldn't
like,
be
the
hit by a
simple
consumption
things,
tax.
like
It's
the
all
simple-
the other stuff.
And they would find a way to like structure most of their purchases in such a way that they're investments rather than consumption.
Actually,
Yeah.
I might be,
And
I
a
might
better
be
example would be
speaking
like
a little
going
out of
close.
So
turn.
yeah, okay, go ahead. Why don't you also tax your fucking stock trades at 30%?
Yeah, exactly.
How about, does that feel good? Does that
Your
feel good to
capital
you?
gains, which
You like that?
yeah, get
Yeah,
it.
you bought a thing that's 30%, bro.
There's only 13 states that tax groceries.
Yeah, my point is not just
No, I know. I was
though.
just,
Like,
it
it could
just
be
made me think about it.
clothing. It could be.
I think the
books, it
broader
could be
point is
whatever
that
it is, yeah.
this is a political act by them. This is not a serious action. The goal
No,
of
it's
it
not.
is to
Sure.
posture and to signal. And so to Randy's point about our PetSmart coworker, who I remember being in favor of this, they were confused by why we were like, no, that's stupid. When one, it's bad economics, doesn't work. Everything would fall apart. Everyone knows that. The other thing is like they say IRS and they think everyone does not like the IRS and they don't think any deeper on that subject. And then they go to the next thing where it's like, oh, these guys are trying to get rid of the thing everyone doesn't like, as
Yep.
opposed to the IRS is bad because it's predatory on poor people. And they don't do anything about the super wealthy. And then this bill is just another extension of that. It fucks the poor people even more than the IRS fucks poor people because it makes
Yep.
instantly living 30% more expensive.
And destroys the economy because
Yeah.
nobody's buying anything except basic necessities anymore at that point. Can you imagine that? A 30% consumption tax? Can you fucking imagine that?
I'm assuming that's going to cover, like, say, if I need a new washer or dryer, or if I need
It's anything.
yeah.
It's anything.
any-
anything except probably groceries, except the states that still tax
potentially,
groceries.
who knows? Because if they did something like this, then who knows what kind of sweeping changes would be in effect.
My God, it's insane.
And I'm not saying like I'm a huge fan of like how taxes are collected or the rates of taxes or anything like that, but people need to have a firmer grasp. I mean, people need to understand how tax brackets work and how
Yeah.
payroll tax works.
Gotta get rid of them.
There are too many people that think that they're taxed on like that percentage on the total amount of money that they make. Like if you make $50,000 a year, people are like, no, if they raise taxes, they're going to tax me 30% on that $50,000. It's like, no, they're going to tax you on like 10,000 of that or 15 or something like that. Like that's it. You know, it's over that certain amount, right?
Yeah, it's a fairly simple equation, and it's fairly simple to understand if it's explained in simple English. But when you start researching the tax law and stuff, it's very hard to follow.
Yeah,
Intentionally so.
Intentionally,
which is why this is such a bluff, because they know how much they benefit from a complex tax code. Just reading the statement from one of the bill's sponsors, instead of adding 87,000 new agents to weaponize the IRS against small business owners in middle America, this bill will eliminate the need for the department entirely by simplifying the tax code with provisions that work for the American people and encourage growth and innovation. However,
1% of the American people.
You understand most growth and innovation comes from people doing shit, like the people that you despise, the people that, you know, make your life possible with their work. If they're dead because they can't afford food, that doesn't really work very well for you. That's not a good end result there. That's something that might actually cause like a violent revolution. Like if you wake up and everything is more expensive because the government said so, that might not be good. And it would possibly create the conditions that we've talked about where it's for the average American, it doesn't have a guaranteed meal. And a lot of Americans already don't. But there's that class of people that has something to lose that kind of keeps a damper on things.
I saw a picture from Walmart. They had one of those security devices with like the 4 straps and the sensor on the top on a pack of eggs. Like that's where we're at. Yeah.
Oh, jeez. I'm reading the actual text of the bill, and it's calling to repeal income tax, payroll tax, estate, and gift taxes.
Oh, wow.
Watch the rich get richer on this one.
The estate and gift tax.
Yeah. No inheritance tax, nothing. You just pass on your fortunes. Continue.
Can this guy? I'm sure this guy's like a pro economist, and I'm sure that he can point to plenty of countries that have implemented this and had it been a success.
Buddy Carter. His name is Buddy Carter.
Yeah. No, it's like the elf from Elf. No, I know, but he certainly has some sort of like evidence that this would be beneficial.
Yeah, in his copy, his little blog post here,
his pitch. He's displeasing the sharks. He's displeasing the sharks.
We are calling for a simplified and fair code that works for all, not just some. I urge my colleagues to support legislation, blah, blah, blah. Where is it? Okay, it simplifies our tax code, transform the U.S. tax code from a mandatory, progressive, and convoluted system to a fully transparent and unbiased system which does away with the IRS as we know it. It is good for our economy because it encourages work, savings, and investment. So there you go, dude. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Work, savings, and investment.
Investment here meaning putting all the money in a big pile.
Who's investing anything when they're being taxed an additional 30%?
Yeah.
Fuck off.
I'm trying to see if there's
and these are the anti-inflation people. Like these are the people that are so concerned about inflation.
Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Could you imagine? Like that's where you actually might get into the having to take wheelbarrows of cash to buy a loaf of bread situation.
This is doing what people think that taxes are doing. You know,
also, if you don't have the IRS, who
really?
Sorry,
Jesus fucking Christ, true. It's doing exactly like how people think taxes are anyway, right? I mean, they're sitting here like people think that they're being taxed 30% on all of their dollars, and they're not. But this makes it so that they are being taxed 30% on all of their dollars. It's obnoxious. Go ahead.
I just want to make really sure.
No, he's not going to talk anymore.
You're going to get rid of the IRS. This is still a law you need to enforce.
Yeah, exactly. How would you make sure that these taxes are being collected on
Wouldn't it just
consumption
be
of goods?
Wouldn't it just be, you know, kind of how Canada does it? It's a VAT tax, right? Isn't that just basically what it is?
Yeah, but you still need some sort of
but it's done at the point of purchase.
Yeah, but
how would you make sure that that's being paid by the businesses or being, you know, collected from the consumer? Or
I do think it would be much easier to collect from the businesses than it would be from.
Yeah, but
it's fewer numbers.
Yeah.
No, that's what happened. The businesses give the sales tax to the government. Who is doing that collection and reporting, if not the IRS?
Oh, right on. I see what you're saying. You can't really abolish the IRS. Gotcha.
No, because there's still a lot of like that, and that's still complicated because it's like you have to audit them to like make sure that they're not bullshitting you about how much they sold.
Look, really, what this is it's no taxes. Okay, look, we're gonna impose. How is that fine? It shouldn't be fine for you. Taxes are a good thing. Taxes are good.
No.
Let's see if there's any.
Taxes can do good things. It's just that the way
they do mostly bad things.
Yes, but that doesn't mean the taxes themselves are bad. It just means that the way they're being doled out are bad.
Are we building a perfect world, or are you giving me a hypothetical binary decision to make?
Even though we have a lot of shitty things that our taxes are paid for, there are still good things that our taxes do pay for, like food stamps and stuff. So just abolishing taxes in general,
Medicare,
those things would not be
Medicaid,
funded anymore, and therefore
Social Security.
Yeah, there's tons of things.
So no argument for
Social
me
Security
there.
actually is a separate tax itself.
I'm just saying that taxes aren't necessarily bad.
If you're putting abolish all taxes on the table, I'm assuming other things are also on the table, where no tax world would make sense, where we kill a lot of very powerful people.
I'm curious, this Buddy Carter, does he think that this consumption tax, this new sales tax, is going to cover the cost of the United States military?
That's what I'm saying. Where's your homework? Where's your math?
Mm-hmm.
No, I think it would.
Does the government have to pay a 30% sales tax to Raytheon?
I think in theory it would. If we assumed that everybody just kept purchasing the same way that they purchase now, and then now instead of only being taxed that 30% or whatever bracket you're in on X dollars above the certain amount, now you're being taxed on all of the things that you buy instead.
I get taxed about 30% on my salary and payroll tax.
Engineering.
I mean, doing that math, I spend that much on consumable goods, not groceries. Like if we're going to stick with the same sales tax that we have going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, most of my money goes to my utilities and groceries.
Yeah. And
for the listeners,
probably like a mortgage or something like that.
No, that's what I mean. Like my mortgage, my utilities, like my bills, my standard bills that aren't taxed, at least not on that rate.
I guess it just depends on like how far it goes, like any
like say if I made $100,000 a year, so you'd have to spend your entire salary to cover 30 grand.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense at all. I want to not add up at all.
I want to tell the listener about how the vibe has just changed in the room, because what's happening right now is the three of us are trying to calculate if we are above or below the line of demarcation for if this is actually good for us. So it does appear that we may come out on top of this bill, because to Randy's point, if you do not spend enough where the consumption tax outweighs what your income tax would be, then you have profited.
Yeah.
And that does make it really easy math to like show anybody that clearly that means
this is
that
not
this
going to
bill
work.
that this bill is like bad for you, like as a taxpayer, for the vast majority of people. And for some reason people just still eat this shit up.
Mm-hmm.
I would love my gallon of oat milk.
I mean, this would be, obviously it would be a significant reduction in the revenue that the United States government is pulling in. That's what the Republicans are for, so that's fine, whatever. I'm curious what they're going to use this significant reduction, because I mean, I don't know, like offhand, I don't know how much I spend. I certainly don't spend every freaking cent of my salary on goods that would be taxed at a sales tax revenue.
I've heard that's good. I've heard that's the ideal situation.
Yeah,
because I have a mortgage to pay for. I got heat and water and groceries and stuff like that. So
I didn't know we're also a financial advice show. You heard it. Do not spend. Yeah,
the reduction would be probably pretty significant of the revenue. Is no longer payroll tax. What's that money going to be? I mean, it's probably all going to go to military spending, right? Because they're not going to stop consuming.
Well, and all their missiles just got 30% more expensive. How does that work? Does the United States government, do they pay sales?
Rich people do not consume that much more. Like, no, they still have the basic.
That's one of the big problems, because you need liquidity to have
twice as much clothing. You think a rich person's going to spend that much more? Like, no, it's not. That's not how it works. Like,
no, they don't spend that much more. You need liquidity in an economy.
Like regressive taxing, because sales tax are regressive. That's what is the typical term that is used.
The way you get economic growth is by having money move around in the economy. And so if you have a bunch of people that are just sitting on money that isn't going anywhere, that's not good for the economy. That's dollars that are that have been removed functionally from the economy, just so that one person can Scrooge McDuck into them. I don't understand why that's such a hard thing for people to get their heads around.
And the truth of the matter too is, like, you're collecting taxes. Your taxes aren't, I mean, I know leftists and progressives, we like to blame the military as far, and they do take a huge freaking chunk. Don't get me wrong.
We give them money they don't even ask for.
But a lot of your taxes actually get sent back to the state for like roads and bridges and infrastructure and stuff like that. It's like, our infrastructure is already crumbling around us. You really think if we had this drastic of a reduction that we'd be all right? Like, people would just be complaining left and right because, whatever.
Oh, my bridge collapsed. It killed my family.
we would all be living in like Fallout 3.
Yeah, seriously.
You know, I mean, it might not be like nuclear Fallout 3, but you know, still, it's going to look the same.
For some reason, it reminded me of this conversation I just had with my kid today, and he's like, "Out of all the animals, why do we seem so different?" I'm like, "Well, it's because we have language that we've captured, like we write and we read and we can pass knowledge on from generation
in the
to generation
beginning,
to
God
generation.
created the heavens and the earth.
No, none of that.
We have a soul, Randy. That's what separates us.
But it just dawned on me. I'm like, well, yeah, that's the canned answer that you give to your kid. Like that's the reason that we've kind of risen above the primates or even, you know, other mammals or whatever. How can you possibly be a libertarian with that knowledge? You never can exist without all of this. Like, and yet we hate each other so much. Like, we cuss at each other in traffic if you get cut off and all this other stuff. It's like, but we literally are fully dependent on generations of knowledge, because you can't just pop out and be like, I'm going to make a transistor today. I'm going to work this lathe to make this table leg or whatever. It's like, this is eons of freaking knowledge that has been passed on, written and learned and transferred for thousands of years.
You're
just going to like cast it aside and be like, you know what? No, taxation is theft.
That's what I had to tell this Uber driver when we were in San Diego. He was a libertarian and he was giving us his libertarian spiel. For one, he's an Uber driver with a phone giving GPS in a car that someone made, and his whole job is
that someone made,
and an app that someone made, and his whole job is dependent on people needing a ride. I said, look, man, I go, we don't live in a vacuum. Like, you need people. Like, everything that you do, you're driving on roads right now made by other people, and you know, people contributed their money to make sure these roads are good. And he's like, oh, that's a very good point. That's a very good point. You know, but I will leave you with this. You know, I'm just like, Jesus fucking Christ.
I will leave you with this. Doesn't it suck to pay taxes?
I knew a guy that made knives, like, you know, like fixed blade, you know, handmade knives, and super libertarian. And taxation is theft, that kind of guy. And it's like, all right, that's fine. Like, just stop paying your taxes. And I want to break into your knife shop and just steal everything. Like, what are you going to do? You're going to call the cops? Like,
fire department gonna like put this shit out when I accidentally drop a cigarette on a...
I'll take all your knives and then catch your building on fire. Maybe you taught yourself how to build those knives from, like, I don't know, some instructional videos on YouTube, or maybe you apprentice under some knife maker or whatever. But all the other knowledge that, even if you went to private school, it's all off the back of a public school education. Like, what do you
it's not all of them, but there's obviously a correlation between the, like, American libertarians and conservative crackpots. The exception that's kind of bred by that unholy matrimony is that the carve out that they'll make for taxes are like the military and the police, which are like where most of your money goes to anyways, for one thing, and also the most
which
oppressive
is a monopoly
tools.
on state violence.
Just violence. We just like the violence, and we don't care much for the other stuff.
Not only do we like the violence, but we want to make sure that only you know, the police or the military can actually contribute to the violence.
2A there, bro. I can also contribute to the violence if I feel the call. Not
legally, though.
Well, now I can.
According to Kyle Rittenhouse, you can.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And a judge.
Yeah, you're right.
Judge said so.
And a jury.
Judge and jury said so.
All right, so
who needs cops
we have a YouTube
anymore?
channel.
Who needs cops
anymore? Exactly.
Yeah, who needs cops anymore if we have the Kyle Rittenhouse?
We have a YouTube channel, and I got the address right. Now it's youtube.com/@. We do crime. So simple as that. And we have the voicemail that we really, really want you to use. WeDoCrime.com/voicemail. Please leave us your QAnon theories. Let's talk. Let's chat.
But we want to hear from some libertarians that think
let's get some libertarians on. Yeah, let's see what we got wrong. Yeah. Let's read some Fountainhead, some Atlas Shrugged on air. Let's do it. Let's go for it.
I would love to have an hour-long episode where we litigate the trolley problem back and forth for 15 years.
Let's do it.
And then I put myself on the tracks.
Atlas listened to a bunch of leftists, and after an hour of being proven wrong, Atlas shrugged and said, but what about taxation?
My suspicion is that most of them know that it's, at least parts of them know that it's bullshit, and they just want to structure a system that works that way because they believe they can be on the top of it.
Yeah.
The millionaire mindset.
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, Drew got to 100. So thanks for the last week's call. That's about it. That's
as high as I can go.
Carl and I, we phoned it in. We didn't even try.
I didn't know I was supposed to.
I mean, we were supposed to, without performance-enhancing drugs, count to the highest number we could possibly count to.
Oh, well, Drew has been on performance-enhancing drugs this whole time.
But I've also been on performance-degrading drugs. That's how I keep myself balanced.
Fair.
You listened to the podcast, right, Drew? The painter. He got to 5.5 million. So that's pretty high. He was painting since 1965 to 2001, I believe. Got to 5.5 million.
That's pretty good.
That is pretty good. That's pretty good. And now Dolly 2 could do it in about 20 minutes.
Dolly 2 could do it faster than that, hopefully.
Yeah. But that's not the point.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Now watch this drive.
So we have to protect our genius.
We're not selling anybody's data.
Now watch this drive.
I have a son. He's 10 years old. He has computers. He is so good with these computers.
We're not selling anybody's data.